Hello everyone, this is GalacticX coming back to you with another video, this time making a video response to TRexSpaceStation and his sixth community questions, sixth round of gaming community questions. Now, let's see. The first question is a game with a beautiful art style. Yes, I've chosen this one. Eternal Sonata. This is a game with quite lovely cover art, and it may look like a game for children, and you wouldn't be very wrong. It's a Japanese RPG, a JRPG, which was released for the Xbox and the PlayStation 3 around 2008. It's not very deep or very convoluted as other JRPGs, but and it's targeted to younger ages. But the thing about it is that it is visually and both visually and musically, the score, the music score, and the original soundtrack and the music score from this game is very nice. It's beautiful because it features many classic pieces by Chopin, and also some points of the story are revolved around milestones and some important times from the life of the famous classic composer. I admit that I haven't played many RPGs, and it's just not a genre that attracts me. In fact, I haven't played any of the Final Fantasy games, and besides that, I think I have played a couple of games on the one is the Lost Odyssey, also on the 360, and the other one was for PlayStation 2. I don't remember, I can't recall the theme, but it was similar to I think to Fire Emblem games on the Nintendo consoles. So anyway, about that Eternal Sonata, yes, it's a game that's has a rather attractive, very attractive artistic direction, very nice combination of cel-shaded graphics and very well animated cartoonish characters, very vibrant and colorful world, and it's it has a deep story, an interesting narrative, a combination of turn-based and action, combat, and if you like those sorts of games, it's actually very good, and I think it's rather cheap to get it now because it's 8 or 9 years old now. So, a handheld game, yes. I have to go with Wipeout Pulse for the PSP. You know, and I liked it so much that I got this as well, Wipeout Pure. Well, the Wipeout games have been released different versions for various consoles, but especially when the PlayStation Portable was released, it was a technical achievement. I mean, ostensibly it was a handheld console that was capable of producing gaming experiences the likes of which you couldn't have before on a handheld. It was a PlayStation 2 level of gaming graphics and depth of gaming. So especially Wipeout Pulse with its amazing 3D graphics and the fast-paced action, and equally importantly the amazing music by it was a specific electronic music band. I don't remember, Excel Junkie or something. It had various very nice electronic music pieces. So yeah, by far the PSP was and I guess it will forever be my favorite handheld console of all time. That's why I think I have 4 of them now. I have the original one. I have 2 2000 series models, and also the last PSP Go, which is very convenient because you can plug it directly to with a component cable and play on a large screen. So yeah. Now a game with aeroplanes in it. I admit I don't have. I hardly have any games with airplanes in my boxed games collection. I remember I had bought the original Afterburner. What was it? I think it was Afterburner 2 that I had boxed. I had bought for the IBM PC systems for DOS back in the early 90s. But unfortunately I threw away the box and I kept only the floppy disks. It was comprised of 2 5 1/4 floppy-inch floppy disks, or diskettes, as they were called back then. Yeah, I know this stuff because I'm old. Yeah. So I have Afterburner, but I don't have the box to show. So I went for something a bit more recent, and that is Ace Combat 5 for the PlayStation 2. The title is Squadron Leader. I think there is an alternative appellation of this game for some geographic regions. I can't quite remember. It was Ace Combat Unleashed something. Okay, I don't know, but I remember this game for the PlayStation 2. For the time that it was released, and for the standards of for the technical standards of PlayStation 2, the graphics were absolutely amazing. And the landscapes, the photorealistic landscapes, the fast-paced action, the strategic, you could control. You were the squadron leader of an entire squad. You could assign different kinds of combat aircraft to your wingman and assign different targets that they could destroy. It's quite amazing. I would very much like to get a more recent title of Ace Combat for the Xbox 360, which with even more amazing graphics. But yeah, it was very enjoyable game. And also the other games of that of the Ace Combat series were very good games as well. Ace Combat 4, for example, although I haven't played it, I've heard very good words for it. So, platform game. Unfortunately, again, I don't have any boxed games for platformers because the platform games I played in retro systems, I don't have any of them in physical form. I'd like to have some because some of them were really amazing for their time, and I would like to get my hands on some of those old retro games, especially games like the original Prince of Persia. Prince of Persia was a game that came out for maybe every conceivable gaming system, from IBM PCs and compatible systems to Macintosh to Amiga, Atari ST, the 8-bit systems. The other 16-bit systems, the consoles. It's so many iterations and different versions of the game. But I remember Prince of Persia was quite an experience. But the game that I want to focus on in the platform genre was is Another World, or Out of This World, a game that I personally hold as a #1 in platform games in my personal experience. And I have it in digital form. It's very cheap if you get it on Steam, especially during the big holiday sales. Now I think it's being sold for it is sold for I think 10 pounds or 10 euros or something like that. But you can buy it even cheaper on eBay, and you can get the anniversary edition, the 15th anniversary edition, which is besides the classic graphics rendition, there is an advanced edition with superior graphics that you can switch on the fly, with more details and better shading and color gradations and stuff, more crispy sound and better sampling rate, and the sound effects. And yes, Another World was a revelation for the time in the early 90s, especially in the Amiga and the DOS systems that could play this game with PC systems that were equipped with VGA cards. It was a demanding game for the time. It was one of the first action platform games that featured very nice 3D animated cutscenes. It had a cinematic vibe to it, and it's very iconic, you know, from the first the introductory scene, the mysterious lab that you enter, and by accident you are transported into you're whisked away to an alien planet, and all of a sudden you are hunted by beasts and giant an aggressive tribe of aliens. And yeah, another world. It's an excellent game. It was developed by a French software house called Delphine Software. And I'd like to get this on eBay. I've seen that it can be found for around 30 euros or so, but it's usually on auctions, and people are hitting those auctions hard, so the price can get out of hand. So it would be nice to have the original game on floppy diskettes. Yeah. Now for the last game, a beat 'em up or brawler game. Oh well, of those games I have plenty, and for this particular video I would like to show this one. It's Tao Feng. What is it? Tao Feng Fist of the Lotus. It's for the original Xbox. It's a game. It's a beat 'em up that you know, it's not the best. Certainly, it's not the best. It doesn't have a wide variety of characters or a wide variety of locations or a wide variety of different modes compared to other franchises like the Street Fighter series or the Tekkens and the Soul Calibur, and you know, those sorts of more popular, or the Tekken or Dead or Alive series. But I don't know why this particular game appealed to me. It was one of the games that was featured in the first introductory lineup of the Xbox. Microsoft promoted this game among a handful of others to show off the capabilities of the system, and for its time, Tao Feng featured exceptionally good graphics, animations, very nice gameplay, and it's the kind of beat 'em up you can enjoy both on one versus one, player versus player, or a player versus the console versus the computer, and it's equally enjoyable. And it had some very nice mechanics, like the gradual. Um, if you were good enough, you could, and you focused your attacks on specific parts of the opponent's body, his arms, his chest, his legs. You could impair him and make him more vulnerable, and you could see the physical punishment that you delivered on them, on your opponents, and it was very gratifying. Also, you could use various elements of the environment and use them to make to hop from walls, or to revolve, to make spinning attacks revolving around poles, and to use other stage elements and environmental elements, to use them to inflict more damage to your opponents. And it was very, very satisfying, and it's the kind of beat-em-up game that's you could say it's more realistic. It's it's closer to the strategic approach of Virtua Fighter, and not the flamboyant and this over-the-top combo moves and cinematic moves that sometimes they are occasionally activated just with a combination of button combination, or sometimes very simply by mashing buttons. You have to learn your combos, and you have to be precise on your timing. So it's rather easy to get into, but it's not very simple to master the moves. And actually, it's a rather balanced game. I mean, whoever you choose, whichever character you choose, you could have good chances to beat your opponents, because every character had their own specific repertoire of moves, of defensive and offensive moves. So, Tao Feng, I'd like to do some gameplay videos. I'd like to revisit some of those games, especially from the Xbox and PS2 and PSP games that I have. I have a modest but adequate collection of for each system. I have about 40 to 50 games on each system, and there are some games I'd like to revisit, and some of those games I have hardly played, and it may be a good they may be a good chance to make some gameplay videos out of them. So yeah, to recap, Tao Feng for the Xbox, an excellent beat 'em up. Eternal Sonata, a game for the Xbox 360 with excellent artistic direction, excellent and very beautiful and vibrant visuals, and music, classical music themes. Ace Combat 5 for the PlayStation 2, a very meaty and satisfactory very satisfactory air combat simulator for the PS2. Um, Wipeout Pulse and Wipeout Pure for the PSP. Amazing games, and also you know, the Another World, very impressive and atmospheric platform game for 16-bit systems. So there you have it. This is my video response for the 6th round for gaming community questions by TRexSpaceStation. Until next time, take care of yourself and stay out of harm's way. Bye. Bye.